Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network Hot Take. Guys, if you haven't seen a hot take before, well, it's where a few friends get in a basement, give our thoughts, give our opinions on a TV show, a movie, or a game. Today, it's going to be a game, and that game is Gotham Knights. Here to discuss, as always, my partner in crime, Chris Strayo.
Gooch, my fellow knight. How are you?
I'm doing better. I was a little bit under the weather with our last podcast, but you know what I'm trying not to do anymore? Just say good.
That's good.
Because I don't really know, like when you say it, in the moment, I'm like, what should I say?
How am I feeling? Yeah, you really start to just digest. Yeah,
better.
That's good.
Yeah, I was definitely low energy last week with the.
I will say, I feel like you pumped yourself up pretty quickly there once we got into it. You were definitely low energy when I walked in the door.
My voice was, I could
it was a bit hoarse. Yeah.
Nah, not hoarse, just little monotone.
A little gravelly.
Not as I want
full.
to say flamboyant. I'm not I don't think I'm flamboyant.
You're a little flamboyant sometimes. It's not a bad thing.
I'm a little loud. I'm a little loud. I feel like this would be a sin if I didn't kick it off to you. What happened? You hurt your nose?
No, I've been blowing my nose so much. It's just
getting rashy.
It's all just rough around the side.
Trio, we're gonna start with you.
Did we say what we're reviewing? Did we say?
Yeah, I think Gotham Knights. Yeah, did we get that far?
Yeah, I was I'm trying to remember.
And the only reason I'm kicking it to you is because you got such more of an opinion on this than I think I do. So I'm interested to bounce off of what you have to say.
All right,
please.
I like it.
What do you think of Warner Brother WB Montreal's Gotham Knights? Just a breath.
First off, I want to say to the people who made this game, I appreciate you trying, and I think you do care about Batman and those characters, and I think you guys do know a great deal, and I appreciate you trying to give us the best thing you can. But God, this game is a hollow shell of a Batman game that I've ever seen one, and it's just...
Try not to laugh.
No, I understand. Listen, I get they were maybe trying to say this isn't an Arkham game, but it's very much presented as just a half-complete Arkham game, in my opinion. It's a very stripped-down game. There's not nearly as many features as you get in those games. They really tone down the story and how it works and how you experience it. I like the idea of you playing as the different Bat family. You can play as Jason Todd, for God's sake. You can play as Barbara Gordon, freaking Dick Grayson, and Tim Drake. That's awesome on paper. That's a really interesting idea.
Yeah, we've never seen that.
Never seen that.
I mean, even in Arkham, we get little tastes of playing as.
We play as all these characters in the Arkham games. Then that's the thing that I think really shows me how shitty this is in comparison. Like when you go back to an Arkham Knight, and I can play as, and I did because I was really trying to
right after,
I'm like,
man, I remember you told me you beat it, and Trio's playing
downloaded Arkham City,
Arkham Knight, and
Arkham Knight, and I just was like, I played Arkham City again, and I'm just like, this is just such a masterfully woven Batman story, with all these really interesting side characters and side plots that are littered throughout the world. And Arkham Knight's open world is so bland and just boring, and there's just not much going on. There's some people here and there. I like the actual design of Gotham, this kind of neon-drenched, foggy city. It's cool, but it just feels hollow and empty, and just the open world feels tacked on. You have to go back to this main hub to experience all your story missions, and then the rest of the city's cut off. It just feels so much of a step back. After I finished it, I was going through it. I was kind of having some fun with it. I think the combat has some moments to shine, but where do you get off? Getting rid of or switching from one of the best combat systems ever created with that free flow combat system. You go into a fight, you see a guy with a shield, you see a guy with a stun baton, you see a guy with a gun. All right, I got to make sure I get that gun out of that guy's hand. Then I got to move on to the shield, get that out of his hand. You really have to tactically think about what you're doing. And Gotham Knights combat, it's just mash your buttons, do your special moves here and there, and that's it. And I don't know, man, just overall, it just feels like a swing and a miss for me, really. And it's sad because, I don't know, I probably wouldn't have gotten this game if it wasn't such a dry year. Genuinely, after seeing some of this stuff and after seeing the review scores, if we had more going on this year, I probably would have waited and gotten it maybe later. And that's sad because this is one of my favorite universes and characters. If it didn't have these four on the box, I wouldn't have bought this game based off of gameplay and based off of even the story. Like, they were retreading so much ground that has been done so much better in other games. Literally almost exact storylines. You're seeing the same characters. It's hard. Like, I know it might not be fair to compare these two games, but it's almost impossible not to. When you're literally playing as all the same characters that you've played as before and fighting the same villains you've fought before, it feels like weird deja vu that isn't quite right, if that makes any sense. I don't know. But Gooch, my long diatribe is over. What did you think about Gotham Knights?
There's a saying, comparison is the killer of joy. Not to
Sure.
to say that you're wrong, but as Chris Connor, friend of the show, said in our Twitch chat, which you can watch live, twitch.tv/Delco Network, watch our recordings live. It's tough to top Arkham, and that's pretty much what you just said. For me, Gotham Knights is a glass half full kind of game. And the reason I say it like that is because I don't think it's empty. I really don't. I think it's half full. I think there's a lot of base. There's a lot of foundation of good systems. I really do enjoy the gameplay. I think that the fighting is fun, and it kind of separates itself from Arkham. But again, it's a Batman game. Of course, we're gonna think of Arkham. It's like the first fucking thing that comes to anyone's mind when they think about a superhero game. Yeah. And maybe now, just recently, Spider-Man. Yeah. And even that takes from Arkham. Like,
absolutely.
You know,
in the ways it should. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It could have been so much more. With the story, it's a court of owls story,
but it isn't.
But like, it's not.
Okay, so no, yeah,
like,
I'm sorry.
It's like
spoilers. We're gonna get into spoilers here. I have to. Finish your thought.
Let me talk.
Yeah, I apologize.
It's a court of owls story, but like, it could have been something different, and I think it was like trying, or like in the beginning it was different. Killing Bruce Wayne, killing Batman. That's not something you see, and I think that starting off point was a smart idea. One. Is this going to be a Batman game just without being Batman? Nah, we're going to kill him, take him off the board. Okay, now we have more time to actually like spend with Robin, Red Hood, Nightwing, and Batgirl, characters we really don't get a lot of time with in the Arkham games, and like just with in general. Mm-hmm. We just see them as like side characters. So like,
Jason Todd, not necessarily in Arkham Knight. He was definitely a main character.
Yeah. But for the rest of them, it's like we really don't get a chance to be with the sidekicks. They don't really get a lot of time. And Arkham Knight just decided to do Red Hood in a different sort of way. So
you see Tim Drake in that too, of course, and Barbara's obviously throughout the whole game.
Yeah, but like it's like they've been Robin or they've been Batgirl.
Sure.
Like, we don't get we don't get the origins here, but. And like we never see them all interact together.
Absolutely.
So this was like, kind of cool. Like, okay, like these cutscenes are like, I like what they're doing here, but they're not really doing anything with
some of the dialogue in some of those
is bad.
It's awful.
It's like you're a millennial who just got out of fucking writing school.
No, I don't even
and
think
you're
it's
writing,
that. Like, I don't even think it's like that. I thought you were gonna say like
bad humor.
It's just not even bad humor. It's just bad ways of speaking. Like Barbara says something about her dad to Jason, and I'm like, no human talks like that. Like that just sounds I can't remember the exact line, but it was just so odd. I'm sorry, but continue.
Yeah, there's just
this is not a game that took 8 years. That should have taken 10 years almost.
I like Gotham a lot. I think it's really different. Like one of the things I hate about the Arkham series is Gotham is always like a set piece, meaning it's not actually a real city. There's like something going on making it just a city with like criminals in it, and then we're actually just seeing Gotham from day to day.
Well, you know,
even though there is shit going on and there's people and there's like normal crimes being committed in Gotham. And
that one
the
video
neon
I
and the
sent
fog.
you was he said this. I
High
thought
Top.
it was interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
know him. I never watched
Dude,
him
I
before.
post his videos all the time.
Do you? I missed it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed
Yeah.
it. I apologize. I'll have to look more into him. But he posted the Batman one, and he was talking about.
He doesn't like MCU Spider-Man either.
Well, then I shouldn't watch him anymore. No, but he was talking about how like
I watched it today, by the way.
Whereas Arkham Knight is almost Burton-esque, like really kind of gothic Gotham City, and this is more Schumacher neon soaked, crazy neon signs everywhere kind of city. But I don't know, even like the
what is in the world is, I'm glad it's not a Ubisoft game, but at the same time, like I'm going back and getting like all the achievements and stuff. So I'm getting the batarangs and finding all the plaques, and I'm like, this is so uninteresting. Like I like
That's
reading
why
about
I
this
feel like
stuff,
it's
but like
empty, you
they
know?
don't really make you care about going to get that stuff at all.
No. And even just the crimes get very repetitive after a certain point. You're going back to same spots to do the same
But
crimes.
what I did enjoy, Trio, is when me and you played together.
No,
and
it
we
is
were
fun.
just kind of like shooting the shit, kind of talking about the game or talking about whatever, and we were playing together. Like,
It was fun
the
for that short
co-op
time.
is a lot of fun.
It
Like,
is.
If I do suggest, if you do pick up this game, I really suggest you pick it up with a friend.
Yeah, no, it's fun, but again, it's not compelling enough to make, like, it should be very compelling to the point where I want to, okay, I finished the game, I want to keep playing with
It should
you.
be compelling.
And
other
even the
than
way
that.
they do all these cutscenes and things like that, everyone's interchangeable.
Yeah,
And I don't like
when
it.
I got to the knighthood stuff, and we can definitely talk about that right now with the cutscenes at the end when it's always with Alfred. It's
He literally
Knight-
says
like,
the
I'm
exact,
like, oh.
he repeats the exact same lines to everyone.
There's an opportunity to not only tell this Court of Owls story in Gotham Knights, but to do a little bit of side stuff with each character.
And
Have
they try to, but they barely
have
do
each
it.
character kind of have their moment. What's Jason Todd like when he comes back from the Lazarus pit and he's better and he's in therapy and he's like communicating with the Bat family like he is? And what's Dick Grayson like being the first Robin now, kind of like being in the, am I going to be the Batman of
Yeah.
this new night crew?
Yeah.
And Barbara Gordon losing her dad, not being paralyzed anymore. Tim Drake losing his father figure and having to be Robin without a Batman.
Very cool
There's so
kernels.
much there, Trio. The glass is fucking half
but
full.
again, but that's what I mean. It's not half full. It's all just said. Like they don't
I know.
capitalize on any of it. So like, it's not even half full. It's just they have a concept of a game and then they didn't execute it well at all. Like those side stories should have been full on side quests set within the world that you go to, that you do missions for.
You're talking about the cases with Harley and Clayface.
No,
and
that,
Freeze.
well, those too, but also even like the side stories that you do for like Barba and like you know you just go to these random weird cutscenes like that are out in the world.
Right,
or
you just go
back in
talk
the
to
thing.
like Leslie Tompkins' Australian daughter for
Yeah.
some reason in the world, and it doesn't really. Oh, it's Jada Tompkins,
doesn't
like Leslie
flow
Tompkins
at all.
But like it doesn't. I don't care.
I don't care either.
I've scared Montoya like 5 times. Like, what am I doing?
There's an interesting story within the emails. That's it. Like within the emails that you see.
Which story?
Just like talking about like all those things that you said. All of them are just
Like
written
Jason
about.
being in therapy.
Being in therapy, talking about dealing with coming back from the Lazarus pit, Dick dealing with becoming possibly the next Batman,
and he's like a
deciding what he wants to do.
playboy. He has like a persona.
That's
like
what I'm
I'm
saying. Like
I'm like I don't think they've ever done Dick Grayson like that before, where he, you know,
he's trying to do this. Yeah, that
like he's being the playboy.
he's putting on the
billionaire.
show. Yeah. Because I guess he was technically the inheritor of all
of
Bruce's
Wayne-
stuff. Of Wayne's things. So,
but they never get to it.
you know what this game should have been? It should have been a fight for the cow. And at the beginning of the game, you choose.
Wow. Just
you
like the comic.
You choose which
Battle for the Cow.
Battle for the Cow. Yeah.
Yeah.
You choose which Robin takes over Batman. You get to make that choice at the beginning of the game.
Or which sidekick, yeah.
Yeah, whichever sidekick chooses to be Batman, and your Batman plays differently, and you experience the story differently depending on which sidekick you choose to become Batman. And I think that's the idea that is a bit more interesting. And this idea of having 4 characters together is very cool, but that's a lot more work. You need to put a lot more work into the dialogue, into these scenes. And if I play a scene as Dick, Jason shouldn't be referencing that as happening to him in the next thing.
Yeah, that was another decision. I didn't really understand why they decided to go the route of like when you're doing missions, only one of them is there. Why not at least give the option,
Especially when you're co-op.
to
Yeah.
pick a partner all the time?
Yeah.
Somebody's always with you.
Yeah, exactly.
And then the other 2 are on comms. I think that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And then like, you know, whoever's there will have whatever banter, and they'll, if it's Red Hood and Batgirl, they're having their own unique dialogue, or if it's Dick and Robin, they're having their own unique dialogue. But like they really like, I'm like, why not?
Most of it's not unique. All that happens is like when you go see Harley, she'll be like Red Hood or Red Stupid, or they'll say their name, but that's it. The rest of the dialogue is like exactly the same in how they interact with the person. You need to put more time into it, and we've said this before, but this does feel like an Avengers light that they were trying to go to.
I think this game is better than Avengers.
Oh no, I think it is, but I think that's because they saw how badly Avengers
Right, 'cause
fucking tanked.
they learned
and they were like,
from the
we need
mistake.
to rework this, and I see that in its crafting system, which is just
Dude,
you get all these weird currencies that don't matter at all.
Dude, I'm like post end game. I probably maybe not played more than you, but I've played the post game probably more than you.
Absolutely, yeah.
And it still doesn't matter to me. I just see if I have enough, and
it's
I'm just like
okay, is there and the stat? You're looking at your stats to be like, all right, it went up a little bit more.
And I'm like, I don't care about these stupid currencies. I don't care about these numbers. I care about the looks, and that's definitely one I think positive we can both agree on.
Costumes look great.
The costumes and the looks for all the characters, the default looks. And
I don't love the defaults, but I love a lot of the other costumes they put in it. For sure.
I
like
think
Dix,
they look
and
great.
I like Red Hoods. And Barbara's actually, I think Jason's the only
Robin.
I should say, is
the only default one I don't like.
I'm not really the biggest fan of. I do like this idea of having Red Hood be the bruiser, the kind of big guy. Like they did kind of take on different archetypes, which I liked.
That was different for Jason Todd. Jason Todd's usually not like a fucking like hulking dude.
Yeah, he's usually like a fucking crazy, not murderer, but he doesn't really care if he causes some damage.
And he's not big.
Yeah, he's not usually
he's like normal
a bruiser.
Size. Like you know, Dick Grayson is an acrobat.
I really didn't like his voice actor though. He felt so robotic to me. Jason Todd, yeah. I don't know. It was weird. I like the how he played Dick actually a lot. Barbara, I did not like at all. She had some lines where I was like, who the fuck wrote this shit? I wish I wrote them down. It was just insane. But again, I think they shot themselves in the foot by revisiting all these characters that we can, and of course they're Batman characters, so it's going to be hard not to compare and hard to use different people, but they're so easy to directly compare to the much better versions we got in the old games. Like, apparently, WB Montreal went through many iterations of what they want to do. They were going to apparently do a Suicide Squad game that got canned. They had a Damian Wayne Batman development game in development for a long time, and that looked like it was going to be something very different.
That would have been a really interesting take to see. Essentially, Batman Beyond.
Yeah, to a degree. And apparently it was going to be a very dystopian, broken down Gotham and stuff like that.
Don't you think it's wild we have not seen another version of Terry McGinnis besides Wilfred Ellis in the show? Isn't that wild?
Well, he's not Terry McGinnis. Batman Beyond is a different character now, right? In the comic books, Terry McGinnis isn't Batman Beyond. I don't think anymore, unless they changed it back. No, you're right.
Even being portrayed, Wilfred. Like I listen to Wilfred Ellis' podcast. I hear voices. Him and Christy Carlson Romano talk to voice actors.
Yeah.
And he's even said it himself. It's crazy that like Terry McGinnis has not been like redone at all. And
it's true. I'm like, not in a bad way. Yeah.
And he's just like, of course, I'm probably gonna hear about it if they do, and I may might be like asked about it, but why not? Why not do Terry McGinnis again? And it's crazy.
I mean, he was a breakout character by far. Like he's a Harley Quinn. I mean, he was this obviously, but he was created for that show, and he did so well that it would be hard not to. I mean, and that does seem what like this game would have been. It would have been Damian Wayne. But it seemed like more of a Batman Beyond with Bruce Wayne as his mentor, like the old guy and Alfred in the chair.
Yeah.
That sounds so much cooler to me. But I do think they got this idea. They heard what Avengers was doing. Maybe not even heard. They saw these games as a service.
Right.
They're like, maybe we can do something interesting in this. We want to do a co-op.
And I think that's a good idea to do a co-op game because honestly, Trio, I like the fact that we do have this game. I like the fact that we can play as because when the fuck are we gonna get a Nightwing game? That's like not gonna happen.
No, it's true.
Well, because it's crazy to think about. Like they had to conjure the situation of like, how do we do a game with the sidekicks? We have to kill Batman.
Well, no, and I think originally they wanted to do that. I mean, even because Arkham does it at the end, Arkham Knight.
Right.
I think they probably wanted this to be set in that universe, but then WB, but they were like, Rocksteady was like, no, we're doing the follow up, which we're doing the Suicide Squad. We're doing the Suicide Squad kills the Justice League, which I still think Batman's going to show up in that. Mark my words. I'm not even sort of.
Who knows where we're going?
Because I'm sure he didn't actually die in that.
And that would be the question: did Conroy do his lines for that, or
yeah? I think if he shows up in that, there's all the voice acting is done for that. Yeah. So I would have assumed if they had that finished up.
Because Susan Eisenberg is Wonder Woman,
and you see his Batman.
I'm pretty sure Tim Daly is Superman.
I think you're right. You see in the background when they're at the Justice Hall, you see his Batman in the background, Arkham Knights. So I don't know. Am I glad we have this game?
Not Tim Daly, George Newbern.
Am I glad we have this game? Sure. Would I say pick this up for $70?
No.
It's very
not worth $70.
If you like these characters, you're probably going to get some enjoyment out of it.
It's hard to say. Like, if you're a fan of like any of the Robins, like I would definitely pick this game up. I think you'll have a decent, fun time with it. But is it sort of a rewarding narrative? No. Do you get a lot of exposition or kind of new story beats with these characters that you love? No, not really.
I'm sorry, they're pale imitations.
And the only thing that I think is kind of different and I kind of liked is Harley Quinn. She looks different and she just kind of has like a much different role without the Joker. They really seem to just kind of like not.
Yeah, but even still, I felt like she was still very much like what she was even in the Arkham. I guess she was a bit less upset about it.
She's kind of like
they really did avoid the Joker thing to like an excruciating degree.
No, I know,
like you were saying that. Like they really don't.
Yeah, I'm like David.
They really don't mention him at all. Like they mentioned him as the boy once her boyfriend left. I don't even think he died though. They said once her boyfriend left town or something like that.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Well, I don't know, man. I liked her voice actor a lot. Clayface, he looks worse than he did in Arkham City. He does. He looked like he looks.
I thought he's in Asylum.
No, he's in Arkham City. Remember, he's the
one.
one. He's the like last. Have you played all those games? Oh, gooch. Have you played? You've played none of them besides Arkham Knight, right?
I have.
That is a worthy revisit. Those games still hold up so well.
I will. There's so much on the back.
Listen again. I know. I like you said with your comparison quote. I think that's very true. But when I go back and play Arkham Knight from 2011, and it matches the quality of this at the very least.
2011.
I think it's 2011, but it doesn't. Okay. Either way, that game's narrative quality just surpasses this by leaps and bounds. Even gameplay wise, the boss battles in those games are so interesting and different. It's not just running up and punching a person until their health bar disappears. Like the Solomon Grundy fight from Arkham City. Arkham City is so cool. You have like so many different things you have to do. It's not just this health bar over a person.
I think I was telling you that. I was like, I wish I could turn these numbers off. And I remember I don't know if you'd beaten the game at this point or you were just at the end and you were telling me, there's this huge difficulty spike when you get to the League of Shadows.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the fuck is this?
Right?
Why is this so much harder?
Dude, well, because they start, and especially the talons and stuff when they come out.
And I started it very hard, and brother, did I go straight to very easy. I'm like, one, I don't care. There's no difficulty achievement. Two, I'm getting frustrated. Like, this doesn't need to be hard.
There needs
I just want to hit these guys and kind of have a little fun and not deal with this. And it's just like, yeah, once the like the Court of Owls folks are fine, but once the League comes into it, I'm like, they're like 7 levels above me, and like
I felt like the talons were always fucking me up.
You can
really
only get
bad.
to 30 in the base game. In New Game Plus, you can get to 40.
Yeah.
So I have to go back and once I'm done everything else, I have to play New Game Plus and get one character to 40. I'm like, all right, that's not terrible.
Yeah. So we're gonna go into some spoilers here for the main story.
I mean,
just heads up.
We sort of.
We not
we
really.
know the Court of Owls are in this game.
No, not that. So the Court of Owls, they just get boop. They don't matter at all, like halfway through this, and then it becomes a fucking League of Shadows story.
Did you
again.
like the inclusion of Jacob Kane? Sort of.
I saw that coming from. That was the thing I saw. Coming from
I saw it come from.
Yeah, I felt like it was so telegraphed.
I heard the voice of the court speaking. I'm like, that's Tommy Earl Jenkins.
Well, it was fun. Yeah, it was just like
I'm like, that's who that is. I'm like,
yeah, I felt like
Kane.
that was not well hidden at all. Even if they were necessarily trying to, and then they just kind of. I just feel like they just trade them for the League of Shadows at one point. Like they don't even matter. Like I felt like that whole storyline really was just.
Yeah, I guess we're going to talk about the ending point, but go ahead.
It just felt like that whole side. It just became a side plot almost, and then it came back to this Talia and League of Shadows story, which, again, I'm sorry, it's not as well. We've seen it and it's done better in other games that are literal. Like whether or not they were trying to be the same, like that type of game. This is a third-person action-adventure game set in the Batman's universe, and it just doesn't even play. Like one thing I'm playing when I was playing Arkham City is like you can press B and you drop straight down off of like a perch. It's just these like little things that the game just kept fucking me on gameplay-wise. Like, all right, I want to drop and take out this guy, and it's like, no, you're gonna jump to the center of the room, and everyone's gonna see you.
You have to jump to the center of the room, where it's like you're not really at this angle to like stealth take down
You
this
don't
guy.
have nearly as much maneuverability and control as you do in those old games, and it sucks. Who was your favorite character to play as?
Batgirl or Red Hood?
I would say Red Hood was my favorite.
Who was your
probably.
least favorite?
Robin.
Nightwing for
I
me.
think. Nightwing, I liked his fighting a lot. I liked how acrobatic and stuff he was. I really felt like, yeah, Jason's. Again, the thing that really made me not play as certain people was their modes of transportation. Genuinely, by the end.
Oh, dude, the
teleport's
so
bad.
It was horrible.
It's so terrible.
I could deal with Jason's mystical leap. And like, you know, Barbara is
just gliding.
gliding normally, and
then
Jason
she has this
has
trapeze.
Yeah,
this
the flying trapeze. But why does Tim Drake use like a boom tube teleporter thing?
And just like it's such an uninteresting way of getting around the map.
Like, it's so lame.
You're just dragging a cursor across the map to teleport.
Yeah, it's
so stupid. Even like I don't know.
And they all get
his
motorcycles,
fighting is
which is
actually
fine.
fun. Yeah, the bat cycle's fun, but again, you're going way too slow on those.
I liked how the world was like fleshed out. Like you're getting emails from Clark Kent about, you know, him
like I said, that kind of backstory stuff was cool.
Cassie Sandsmark and like,
Was there
all
one from
these,
Diana too?
Yeah,
there was.
For,
I thought so.
to Barbara, I think
so.
And I'm like, that's cool. That like, okay, all these characters kind of exist in that world, and that's fine. And it was always alluded to in Arkham when people like, you know, the caped guy from Metropolis. What about him?
No, and it's funny. They even had. I remember in that they had like a what city is flashing?
Central.
They had like a Central City poster, and it was an obvious Flash motif.
Yeah.
It is going to be really cool to see all those characters kind of fleshed out in Suicide Squad.
I wonder
Kills
if
the Justice League.
Michael Rosenbaum is playing Flash.
I don't know. I mean, we hear him, so I'm assuming.
Yeah, I've never heard him talk about it, and I listen to Inside of You like all the time.
Really?
He's never talked about it.
Huh. Well, hold on. Suicide Squad. Why is this? My fucking network's not. Anywho, I don't know. Yeah, just they complete, like, I feel like this whole story was based on, like, all the trailers were based on, we were getting this whole Court of Owls story that just gets completely sidetracked, and then by the end we get back to the Batcave. Do we want to talk about this now, or is there anything else you would like to talk to about the footage?
I'm currently IMDbing this.
This Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League.
Yeah, because I need to know, actually. Deborah Wilson, we know that. Hold on, top cast.
Yeah.
Wow, nobody. Okay, so we have 3 confirmed.
Okay.
Tara Strong as Harley Quinn, Deborah Wilson as Amanda Waller, and I forgot. He's a
that's the
wrestler.
same woman
Joe
from,
Samoa is King Shark.
Interesting. Yeah, that woman who plays Amanda Waller in that, she's in Jedi Fallen Order.
Yeah, Deborah Wilson.
Yeah. She's good.
Was it Game Awards that she came out?
Yeah, as her. It was so... oh, my God.
Oh, that was great.
Insanity.
That was crazy. Can't wait for that this year.
Absolutely. So, yeah, I don't know, man. Overall, Gotham Knights is a mixed bag, much more leaning towards the negative for me. I think there's just so many good ideas in it that just, if they actually spent all 8 years working on this and really trying to make a co-op experience and not maybe focusing on the more extraneous stuff, I think you could have gotten something cool. And I think you would have gotten something that was like an A+ even. But they just... I think they took so much time in trying to decide what they wanted to do that it just fucked over what they did.
I said this to you before, but like talking to you in person and hearing you on Discord, you're like 2 different.
What do you mean? What do I say?
You're
now
so much more like curt and like vitriolic on Discord.
That's because it's fun to be there.
You're just
I think
like,
I'm being pretty curt
like
here.
you just trying to be like Gotham Knights is a shell of a game.
I did say that at the beginning of this though. I said it's a hat.
I know. And then, like, because like the first few days it was out, like you were like really negative about it. When we were playing, I'm like, oh, we're having fun.
Yeah, no. Well, I think I was actually a bit more high on it when it first came out. It was more of, it kind of started kind of slowly going down the entire time.
Yes, yeah.
We were playing and really put the nail in it.
Those co-op sessions I really enjoyed.
No, they were fun. Don't get me wrong. I just wish they had more fulfilling stuff to do with those co-op
there really
things.
is no replayability here. I doubt this game's going to get DLC. It kind of feels like it could. Like they could like put like Batwoman.
Oh, I mean,
in this.
they could easily set it up. Yeah, that
I
would be
guess
really cool. But
the Kanes exist. Who knows what Kay Kane's up to? It doesn't
yeah, I
seem
guess
like
they don't really
Batwoman
even
is a
reference
thing.
her at all. I'm surprised they didn't reference her at
Yeah,
all.
especially with like her stepmom and her dad being in the game.
I think the only other reference I can think of in the Arkham games from her is I think she calls Bruce in Arkham Knight. She leaves a message on his phone. You can listen to it, like in Wayne Tower. Did you ever listen to those? You get one from Lex Luthor too. And he has like a messaging machine.
I'm trying to think.
It's in like Wayne Tower. You go and you can check his messages. And there's also a lady he fucked in there. She's like, Bruce, call me babe. I had fun last night.
I don't like the
Again,
way
that's like the little stuff.
he looks
Who?
in Arkham Knight.
Bruce?
Yeah.
I don't like his voice. I think do you mean his like bat suit in general?
Wait,
or
it's
like,
Kevin Conroy. What do you mean?
oh, in Arkham Knight. I'm sorry. I thought you were saying Gotham Knights. But you don't.
Wait, were you talking about Gotham Knights?
No, I was talking about Arkham Knight. I'm
Yeah,
sorry.
okay.
No, I thought I just thought you pivoted there for a second.
I don't like the way Bruce's face.
I think a lot of the people's faces in that look very
stupid.
weird. Yeah, that was Unreal 3. I didn't realize that. When
Really?
they made that. Yeah, Unreal 3 engine. Still looks great.
But yeah, speaking of Bruce Wayne in Gotham Knights, it's weird. Yeah, like whoever this voice actor is for him, like it's fine, but like he just really doesn't sound like Batman or Bruce Wayne ever. And then he gets resurrected at the end, and I'm like, of course they did, just to kill him off again.
Well, but I kind of rolled my eyes, but then I appreciated that they actually like, because I do think that
they
idea
said that like he's dead. I'm like, oh, they.
But I was like,
lied.
they just Arkham Knighted us again with the Jason Todd thing.
Yeah.
But no, I think that idea of Talia bringing him back and you having to face the Batman as your last fight is really cool. But again, it's a boss fight with a fucking health bar above his head that you just need to keep punching until he realizes he's fine. I don't know. It's just so underserved, I think, for what that moment should be. And
Really? Okay.
I do think there was some interesting dialogue. Who did you play as for that last mission?
Robin.
I played as Dick. So that's a.
For Robin, I was like, the dialogue's pretty interesting here.
I'm curious how different that ending. That seems like something I'd hope that they would put a bit more time in.
Yeah.
But I don't know. We'll see. But again, that feels so weird because like, imagine you're playing that last mission with your friend, and then he's just referencing the one character that's there. You know what I mean? Because I'm assuming if you're joining me and I'm the main character as Dick, he's only having that conversation with me. It's not like the two of us there. You know what I'm saying? Does that make sense? So again, I think that kind of fidelity stuff that really makes the world real is just absent in this and makes it feel very video gamey, which again, it's obviously a video game. But if you're going to create 4 characters and have them interweave to the story like this, you have to commit to the narrative side of it. You have to commit to these dialogue choices.
Agreed. Yeah.
And they just didn't. And I felt like they did that to cut corners a little
and
bit.
maybe if the narrative was higher, maybe we'd be higher on the game in general. I mean, like the game, and for me, the game plan plays fine. It's fun. It's like for what it is, for the time I'm gonna sink into the game, and for the rest of the time I have left, which is just getting. I'm in the middle of getting the batarangs, which is like kind of annoying. They're not easy to find.
No. Who do you do when you're doing? Do you just
I'm just switching between them all. I like the knighthood outfits are really cool.
Yeah, they are pretty cool. And again, even we talked about the crafting system, but what they should have done is there's like 8 outfits that you can get. You should have just been able to unlock the 8 outfits and upgrade the specific outfits like independently instead of just I'm recreating the same outfit again, but with higher stats. And the crafting system is just.
Well, it's fine that you can reskin it when somebody.
No, but I know, but you can't customize those reskins, which is frustrating. So like that's why I'm saying like I feel like you should have been able to unlock all 8 of those suits, upgrade them as you please, and swap them out.
Justice 2 ended up doing their system a little bit better.
That gear system is so good.
Yeah, what a weird. I remember we were so worried about that. I was worried about that.
Because you were like, what is it going to look like? Yeah.
I'm like, oh no. I'm like,
you could get some super cool skins in that.
Like pieces of gear. Like,
oh my God.
Yeah, and it ended up being pretty good.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Overall, Gotham Knights, it's a shell of a game.
A forgettable title for this year. A glass half full game. No game. Wasn't up for any game awards this year. Doesn't make sense. It's not really great.
And again, like I said, I kind of feel bad for the team because I feel like they were bounced back and forth between like many different projects.
It's crazy that this is their first game since Arkham.
That's what
Origins.
I'm saying. That's why.
Wild.
That's another thing that really kind of brings it down for me, and I feel bad for them.
Because you like this studio.
I like the studio, and they did it.
And you like Arkham Origins.
Arkham Origins. It's of course it's not the best Arkham game, but it's an Arkham game. It's a good Arkham game. It's a good, interesting Batman narrative. So they can do that. They can. But I just think they put themselves under too many constraints, and I don't know if it was WB that wasn't liking the ideas that they were pitching, or they decided to go back on it. Look up some stuff on that Damian Wayne Batman game. It looks really cool. They have some concept art of Gotham, and it's very like dystopian and broken down, and Damian's suit's very like Batman Beyond-ish. It's like, but it has more of, it's like the classic cowl, but with all black and the red bat symbol. It's awesome. I would love to see something like that someday, but we'll see. Gooch, anything else on Gotham Knights?
That does it for me, man.
Awesome. Guys, gals, people, thank you all for watching with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We very much appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerd Network. We're on all your social medias as well at Delco Nerds. We have a Facebook page. We have a Discord channel. All that good stuff should be linked below. You can find all this information, though, on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. You can email us with your comments, questions, or concerns, delconerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to get back to you. And if you could leave a like, comment, subscribe, it really helps. Review us on iTunes or Spotify. It goes a long way. Really helps kind of grow the channel. But for Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.